Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Paranormal Peeps podcast. And we have a great and lovely show for you all today.
Do we?
We do.
Okay, I'd agree. We do.
We are also missing somebody today.
Elisa, where are you?
She just left us.
She left us. No, no, she had some family obligations. So, which we always say family first.
Exactly.
So, but we miss you, Elisa.
We do. But we'll have a great show without you. Well,
In theory.
yeah. And if you haven't guessed, we got at the table my lovely wife.
I don't see her. Where is she? I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's Jamie for you.
Yeah, it's just me.
And I'm Josh.
Or Stinky Pete.
Or Stinky Pete.
No.
As it was last episode.
Right?
We, before we get onto our topic, we just, want to say, for all of you that have had Thanksgiving here in the U.S., want to say happy Thanksgiving.
Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Because we're past that now. But
just a little bit.
Well, yeah, and we are definitely a week behind on this.
We are.
Just given with the holidays and everything. We just, scheduling.
Yeah, and we were busy, right? I mean, we had an investigation at the Great Salt Air.
We did. We actually did a collab with Broken Wings Paranormal and their team, and yeah, it was great. But that's for a future episode.
Yes.
So stay tuned. That'll be coming up here in the weeks to come. So
yeah, and then we're going to be traveling here shortly. Yeah,
before the end of the year, we got one more. A good trip in us for the year. And details to follow on that.
Absolutely. Just know that if you don't hear from us again, we just froze to death in the desert.
Yeah. But that's all you get. If you don't hear from us, as they say, contact us through EVP.
Dowsing rods. I mean, there's ways to find us, right?
Yeah. Just reach out.
Absolutely.
We love to hear from you.
All right, so on to our lovely episode we got for you guys tonight. We are going to be talking about probably one of the oldest places that we've done so far.
Well, that we've done a show on.
Yes.
Now, I would love to go and do this in person, of course.
I would too. Even just to visit.
Go on the tour.
Yeah.
Really nothing beyond that because it's dangerous.
Parts of it.
And, we're not young anymore.
No, we're not.
No.
So we are going to be talking about the Paris Catacombs.
Yay.
Most everybody who thinks of the Paris Catacombs thinks of giant walls of bone.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be wrong.
No.
But they're actually older than you think.
Well, yeah, and I didn't know just how old they were. So we've been watching some documentaries and, of course, looking up stuff online and doing a little bit of research. So,
yeah, so we got to go back to the 3rd century BC.
Dang.
Yeah, so that's old. In fact, we're going back to the Roman times with Lutetia, which is where Paris used to be. Or sorry, it used to be where Paris is located.
Reverse that.
Reverse that. So it was actually Paris. It was founded by a Gaelic tribe called Paris, and that traces an early Neolithical settlement on the former site of that city. So we're talking like this area is very old.
Yeah.
And so around the 1st century BCE, that's when the Romans conquered the Gaelics, the Gaelic tribe, and they took over that area. In the 5th century, they actually named it Paris. So before that, it was Lutetia, and then eventually came to be known as Paris.
Mm-hmm. And Paris is known as City of
Lights.
Yes. Well, now I've heard people say City of Light, and I've heard others say City of Lights. I wonder which one it really is, though. Is it light or lights?
That's a very good question.
I guess, does it matter or?
Well, I think it does matter for not doing it properly.
Well, yeah, I'd like to do it properly, but I've heard it like in the documentaries and the things that we found online. I've heard it and read it both ways. So honestly, does anybody know if it's City of Light or City of Lights?
Yeah, so if you guys know, find us on social media. Let us know.
Let us know.
Definitely let us know. We do have a few listeners who are over in Europe. I would imagine that you guys have a better understanding than us across the pond about what it's actually called.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but we do try to get it right, but we're not perfect, and we are going to get some things probably wrong. Not everything on the internet you read is true.
And I will say that I'm going to butcher pretty much everybody's name.
So we apologize in advance.
Definitely. So the cool thing about Lutetia is that it was actually modeled after Rome. So it had a forum, it had baths, it had an arena. They even had like monuments and an aqueduct that was 15 kilometers long. So that brought water in to the city. So why this is all important to understand about all of these major works that they did for the city is because you got to build it out of something.
Yeah.
And they built it out of limestone.
Yep.
And so they did a lot of open pit quarries to take this limestone that was just in the region. And then they, built their aqueducts and their roads and their buildings and their monuments and all that stuff with it. When Paris was built, it ended up sprawling out over the top of these quarries.
Mm-hmm.
And so now what you can think about it is now it's making like an underground.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like, in a similar sense, the way Seattle is. So Seattle had a great fire.
Burnt to the ground.
And instead of removing the buildings and everything else like that, they said, let's build on top of it.
Yep.
And so there's an actual underground city underneath Seattle, Washington.
Yeah, that's another one I'd like to go see too.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And supposedly haunted.
Well, come on, every place is haunted. Don't you know that? No,
that's true.
I'm kidding.
As Paris grew and they used the limestone, they stopped using the open pits, obviously, because Paris is built on top of it. Mm-hmm. And so they started building out tunnels and kind of doing this underground quarry work itself. What you can think of is when you tunnel underneath something mm-hmm. and you got buildings above it, it's eventually going to get weak.
Eventually. Something's going to give.
Right. It's not like the mega caverns in Kentucky where they knew exactly how many pillars to leave up and mm-hmm. and not to mention that that's granite and this is limestone and it's a lot weaker.
Yeah, the mega cavern.
So in 1774, a huge sinkhole opens up. And it actually swallows several houses and residents just right into the hole.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, that would be terrifying.
It would be. Just for it to open up and down you go.
Yeah. And that's 1774. So, not like modern day equipment can get you out. Or even know what to do with it.
Even if it could, just the injuries that could come from that, death, just from that opening up and swallowing your home.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. And so King Louis the 16th made an immediate order to map the tunnel system and prop up the dangerous parts.
Yep.
So he's like, hey, look, we can't have this happening. We can't keep having holes show up in the middle of Paris. So he ordered that to happen. Unfortunately, there were new sinkholes that actually came in 1784 and 1879.
Yeah.
So they're like, this is not working.
No.
But on top of that, so now you got sinkhole issues that thankfully, I don't believe they've had any other issues since the 1800s or 1900s.
Not that I've come across.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything
that's been
either.
documented, but it doesn't mean that there weren't.
Right.
But I didn't see any.
But there is another issue that happened.
Yes,
So,
there was.
You can imagine that Paris, being an ancient city, going through the times of the plague and other things, right? That they got to put bodies into the ground. People die, right? So Paris had over 200 graveyards.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. Now I don't know how big, like how much land mass the city takes up, but that's still a lot of cemeteries.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they said it was so bad, like each time they were digging a new grave, they would actually dig up bones from an existing grave.
Yeah.
And so, you're talking basically.
You're layering people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're doing layers of bodies.
And so if you think about it, the ground can only hold so much. And so eventually that came to an end when the largest cemetery, and it's called Cemetery des Innocents, which I think roughly translates to the Cemetery of the Innocent, I believe. But in 1780, a huge chunk of that gave way. So it's kind of like a sinkhole issue. And it ended up going into the basement of a local restaurant.
Buh. Oh, that would be a very, hey, I'm going to go down to the basement. I got to get some more bottles of wine, and no.
Out come like 30 decaying bodies.
Yeah. You get covered in an avalanche of dirt and bodies.
Yeah, that's
no.
That's bad. So they had, issues. Obviously, they have these mass graves. Essentially, is what it is, right? But because they have all these bodies that are underground and rotting, you get illness and infection.
Mm-hmm. The smells.
The smell of putrefaction.
Yep.
And the drinking water was getting polluted.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they said, we got to do something. And so they're like, hey, you know what? We got these underground tunnels. So let's just empty the graveyards and let's just start putting these bodies in these tunnels.
Yeah.
And so in 1786, in April of 1786, they started moving these bones from the graveyards into these underground quarries, which they call quarries, or which we come to know as the catacombs. And so they did it at night, so that way people wouldn't see the bodies being moved.
Yeah, but and this was in one of the documentaries we watched. I mean, could you imagine looking out your window at night and seeing just this long trail of these carts being pulled, just stacked with bodies?
No.
I mean, I couldn't even picture that. That would be a horrific sight.
That would be something.
Even under the veil at night.
Yeah. I mean, because they're not going to be quiet, right? I mean,
No.
You're talking about stone streets, wooden carts,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Going over like the cobblestone and stuff. You're going to hear it.
Yeah, you're going to hear it.
You're going to hear it.
So by 1814, they closed the quarries,
Mm-hmm.
the underground tunnels, and they would be home to it's roughly 6 to 7 million Parisian souls.
Yeah. That's a lot.
That's a lot of bodies.
I can't even fathom that.
Yeah. It's hard to believe, right? Because like we live outside Salt Lake City, which is population, I think, right around 1 million people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 6 times the population of Salt Lake City in the ground.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
In the ground alone. Yeah.
Like I said, the tunnels actually became known as the catacombs, and it's actually reference to the underground necropoles in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
In Paris, they're actually called ossuaries.
Yes.
And that's essentially, a place where they hold bones. Is
Mm-hmm.
essentially what it's called, what it means. What do you do when you got 6 million people buried underground in tunnels? You open it up to the public to watch.
Yeah. To go down and see.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so July 1st, 1809.
Really? Way back then, huh?
Way back then. And it was with great fanfare and creating a stir amongst the the glitterati, so the famous people, right? Who to visit. They included contemporary luminaries such as Napoleon III and the Emperor of Austria.
I'll be darned.
So a lot of
Quite
people,
the draw.
quite the draw to go see.
Yeah.
I guess it seems common for us now because we've known about the catacombs for a long time. Like we've known that they have existed, like the ossuaries. But like this is, I don't know. It seems weird that in 1809 they'd be like, let's go look at bodies.
I don't know. I mean, does it really though? Because there were people that would go have picnics when battles were raging and wars were being fought. They'd pack a picnic.
That's true.
There was these public hangings that were like a very much a public event.
So we just like the macabre.
So throughout the ages, there are these different things that today we look at and go, what the heck?
I guess it can't be anything different than people watching horror movies.
Well,
like
yes,
Saw.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Because in these days, these are very real macabre things. These aren't something you're watching on a screen.
Well, true.
That's all like, special effects, makeup, and actors.
This is true, but
these are real hangings, real dead bodies stacked in decorative art forms, underneath Paris.
Yeah.
So I think it's vastly different. I wouldn't say it's no different. I think it's vastly different.
I was putting more so in reference to like watching battles and stuff like that. Like, obviously, we're not like during wartime now. We're not going out and packing a picnic and watching a war being fought.
No, I mean I can't imagine doing something like that.
No, so for us, for our generation, the equivalent of that would be watching movies like Saw and these other movies where people getting hacked up, the slasher films.
Maybe. But that's not what you said.
That's what I meant.
It's not what you said. We have that conversation quite often.
Yes, we do. Now we get into something that Jamie already alluded to, and that's kind of like these bones being art.
Yes.
So there was an office created, or not an office, but a position called the General Inspector of the Quarries. And so that individual is in charge of the group of individuals, these inspectors that go around and inspect the quarries, the tunnels, and make sure that they are sound and secure and, making them safe from collapse. Because obviously now, with Paris being a much bigger city, with a lot of big buildings, if a sinkhole opens up from these catacombs...
Much more devastating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His name was Heracart de Thury. And I apologize for butchering his name.
The 3 or the 3rd?
Thury. Thury. Thury.
Oh, Thury.
Thury.
Oh.
So he set up the bones as a museum, and he actually took these bones, and they're mainly tibias, so the front lower leg bone, and skulls, and he made like columns and plaques and altars and made this area which we see today, which you can go visit today, called the ossuaries. Mm-hmm. And so if you see any pictures of what the ossuaries or catacombs, you'll see these ornate lines of bones and structures that are really neat.
Right, but they're really just essentially made up of 2 bones is what you see.
Exactly.
The femurs and the skulls.
Yes.
Where are all the other bones?
Those are dumped throughout the catacombs.
Oh, lovely.
So we watched a couple videos, actually. There's this one hallway, essentially, in there that I would estimate it's probably 3 feet thick of femurs and hip bones, iliacs. Mm-hmm. And then there's another where there's this chute where obviously that's where they dump them from above.
Yeah. And
it's clogged up with bones. And it's probably 60 feet.
Yeah, just a solid stack.
And they're wedged. They've putrefied in place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in a way they've fused together.
Yeah.
Over time.
But I would still be nervous looking up at them because if they fall, that's 60 feet of bones
you're under.
You will be crushed to death by bones.
Yes. What a way to go.
Right? It'd be awful.
It would be awful.
So that's really the essence of those, of the bone part of the catacombs. And we said that there's a lot of mileage of tunnels underground. So it's 100, some estimations, it's 155 to 185 miles of tunnels.
Yeah, I think what you're going to hear most commonly, though, is that it's 200 miles.
Yeah.
If you watch these documentaries and stuff, a lot of times they're like mapped out, it's 200 miles.
And no one's really fully mapped out the catacombs.
That we know of.
Well, there are collapsed tunnels. There are tunnels that are completely flooded.
Yes.
So there are impassable sections.
Well, and they even said there's a lake down there.
Swimming pools.
Lake, yeah.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff that's down there. One thing that's down there are several sculptures. And they're actually, the sculptures were made between 1777 and 1782. And it was hewn by a certain quarry worker with the General Inspectorate. Now, I don't have his name, which is weird, but they just said...
Yeah, you'd think they would have... Yeah, huh, that is weird.
So while working in the quarry, he discovered a cavern that opened up after a rockfall. And at lunchtime, while he ate his lunch, he would enter his cavern, as he calls it, and he would chip away at the rock. For 5 years, he fashioned buildings underground that reminded him of those of Mahan. So, sadly, unfortunately, some of those sculptures were damaged during the French Revolution, which would break out shortly after his death.
Yeah.
And in later years, by nature and people, although, thankfully, a lot of it has been restored.
Well, that's good.
So, and that is all of the fun, artsy stuff of it. So, obviously, the catacombs have been around a while, and when you have places that have been around a while, you start getting certain legends and things that come up.
Always.
So,
Always.
So what's one of the crazy things you got?
Well, I don't know if this is a legend though.
Well, I would say it's in the legend category because we don't know anybody who was alive to see that. So it's a story that's been passed down.
I don't know. I could see this one being very true.
So can I.
I have to be honest. Like, for me, this doesn't feel like legend. This does not feel far-fetched.
No, this feels pretty...
This feels like it could be very accurate.
And
honestly.
Might still go on today. Not at this restaurant, mind you, but...
You just don't know.
No.
I mean, weirder things have happened. So, in 1896, there was a discovery of hundreds of skulls in the tunnel. Okay? Animal skulls, in fact. Just like piles of these animal tunnels. So it seems that the catacombs, well, they shared a well with this nearby restaurant in Paris. So it was run by what they describe as an unscrupulous manager who passed off felines as rabbits at this restaurant. And it says their taste is apparently resembling one another. So basically what you have here is you have a restaurant that was known for their rabbit. Okay, they were like famous for their rabbit that they served.
Their Hassenpfeffer.
Right. So when they found these pile of animal skulls and determined that these were cat skulls, in fact, and when they went up through this well, it opened up at this restaurant. So they were actually, it's rumored that they were taking cats and passing them off as rabbits and serving them to their customers and throwing the skulls down the well. Yuck.
Right?
I mean, I can't imagine.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
To us, that's bleh, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I get it. Other countries eat cats and dogs and guinea pigs and stuff. So,
yeah. So, I mean, different cultures. I don't know. But I mean, I couldn't imagine. You know, for us, it's like appalling. But
if you think you're eating rabbit and you're eating kitty cat, Like, I wouldn't be happy with that.
Well, I mean, and here's the thing. If it was truly acceptable, and I'm not saying it was because I don't think it was, because why would you have to pass it off as rabbit if it was acceptable to be cat?
Probably because cat's cheaper. The city's full of cats. So they
right. But if it was an acceptable thing in society to be doing this, then they wouldn't have to hide the fact that it was cat.
Exactly.
That's my point.
So you get the famous cat cuisine.
Yuck. Well, that reminds me of one time years ago that I had taken a coworker and her husband out to dinner at a Chinese restaurant. And we were sitting there and we had just gotten our food and we were eating and we were sitting at a booth right by the kitchen where the food was prepared. You know, you could see the chefs back there making the rice and, you know, and all the things that they make. And there was two gentlemen back there and they were cooks and they were talking and they were sitting there joking around. And well, I think they were joking around, but they were laughing. And one points at the food that he's making and he goes, meow, meow. And they start laughing. So, I mean, and it could have been a total joke, but I mean, when you're in the middle of your meal at a restaurant and you hear the cooks doing that, well, needless to say, we all stopped eating.
Right.
Because it's just like, I don't know.
It's not worth the risk.
No.
But it's funny because you say that, and in my former life, I had a job that I did a lot of traveling for, and usually early in the mornings.
Former life. You make it sound like you have a past life. Maybe you should clarify a little bit, because I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, in my younger days when I was working a different job, I traveled a lot, and I worked usually early morning hours. And I was driving one early morning, probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And I go by this building and there's a car pulled up and they're unloading kennels.
Okay.
So I'm like, it's a vet clinic. They're doing, you know, whatever they got to do.
Yeah.
So I drive back about 4 hours later, 5 hours later, after I get done doing the work that I was supposed to do. And I looked back at that place and I was like, oh, what the name of the vet clinic is? It was a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, that don't look good. I mean, it could have been completely innocent, of course. But yeah, it would make me for sure not want to eat there.
Yes, but on the menu is pork, chicken, and beef, not anything that comes in a kennel.
I know, that's
the scary
kind of
part.
my point, yeah.
There's other rumors, I would say, and legends that have happened in there. And one of them, I think, kind of falls around what people call cataphiles.
Yes.
Cataphiles are essentially individuals who explore the catacombs. The interesting thing about that is that the ossuaries is about 2 miles in length.
Yes.
And it's public to the people. You can go buy tickets.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only place you're actually legally allowed to go.
Legally, yes.
The other 198-ish miles of tunnels is illegal to visit.
Mm-hmm.
But you have these people called cataphiles who go and visit it anyway.
Yeah, they have secret entrances and exits that they know of.
Yeah, and the police are constantly closing them up. And
yeah, once the police are tipped off to an entrance or an exit that people can access the catacombs to, they usually go and they weld them shut or they block them off.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they actually also patrol the catacombs.
Yes.
So the fees for getting caught start at about 60 euros and go up to 1,500 euros.
Yeah.
If you get caught.
Yep. Don't get caught.
Don't get caught.
Or just don't do it. Because there's other dangers that come with doing something like that.
Yeah. So we watched one YouTube video where they were down there for 14 and a half hours.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they went to leave the catacombs, their entrance that they used had been welded shut by the police.
Yeah, so they had to search for another way out that was open.
Yeah, and
it took them a long time.
They ran into a cataphile that helped them out.
Thank goodness.
And when they went up and out of the catacombs, they found themselves right in the middle of a road.
Yeah. Yep.
So a little hairy, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, at least they got out, though, because there have been people that have not come back out.
That's true. And we'll touch on him next. But what is your story that you have that's associated to cataphile activity?
Well, it sounds like they're responsible for a lot of activity down there.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So back in 2004, they discovered that there's a motion sensor, and what it is you trip this sensor, and what it actually does is it sounds like dogs barking. Okay, so it's just a recording of dogs barking.
But it would scare the bejesus out of you if you were in the dark.
It would. You sound, you hear what sounds like these big, ferocious dogs barking at you, and the tunnels, I'm sure, echo.
Oh yeah.
So I mean that's terrifying. So anyways, it was designed to keep people away. So along with that, there was this huge cavern that was kind of carved out, and it was equipped as like a cinema. So in this cavern, there's like seating for like 20 people. There was like a projector down there where they show movies. There's all these paintings and artwork on the wall of like scenes from movies.
Be really cool.
Almost like movie posters, only they are hand painted on these walls. It's actually really neat. You can kind of find those online and stuff to take a look at those. They also had, in the cinema, it had a bar and a restaurant next door, along with phone and electrical installations. So when they discovered this, they left the tunnels. The authorities left the tunnels. They went up and they gathered like a team of others to come down there to remove all this stuff.
Right.
Right. But upon returning a few days later with the electricians, they've discovered that everything had actually been disconnected, and all that was left behind was a note that says, "Do not try to find us."
That's super cool.
I think that's really cool. So the cataphiles had rigged this up. They kind of made this, I mean, they had parties down there.
Still to this day, they got parties and stuff going on.
And, they kind of watch over the catacombs, maintain them in a way, especially the unknown parts and stuff. But they use it for their meetings, their parties. They watch movies down there. But yeah, they had rigged all this up with security. So they knew when the authorities had come in there and discovered their stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, they went down there, they removed it all. So when the authorities got back, it's like, big, middle finger. Don't try to find us.
Yeah. And supposedly cataphiles still leave notes for other cataphiles in the tunnels.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I want to say like almost like a secret society in a way.
In a way.
So, because very few people know the entrances and they're guarded. Like the people that they're showing the YouTube videos, they were told they're not allowed to shoot. They're not allowed to publish the entrances or the exits.
Yes.
So they're not allowed to say how to get in and out because they really want to keep this, private into that avenue.
Well, and I understand that. It's no different than, like from what we do when we go in somewhere and we want to explore it and do an investigation there. But yet you have other groups that, because you have a lot of good paranormal groups out there, right? They're respectful when they go into a property or whatever, and they leave it as they found it. But then you do have others that go in there and they trash things.
Yeah. Well, and and that's the thing too, right? People do, and still today, they leave their trash in there and they don't pack out what they brought in. And you've got cataphiles, a group of them that go through and clean up and
remove a lot of garbage.
Yeah, they remove a lot of trash because they don't want these places to be messed up.
Yeah.
So, and let's face it, like the catacombs are dangerous. Not that they're going to fall on your head, mind you. Like it's not going to collapse on you. Most of those tunnels have all been patched up and secured, so they're not going to collapse. But you're looking at it that the passages, they're only about 6 feet high.
Most of them.
So for the entire trip, I'd be hunched over,
Yeah.
which gets tough. I mean, there was one video we watched, and I think the gal was 5'6", and she was hunched over pretty far just to walk through one of the tunnels.
Yeah.
So, and most of them, if you're not, slight of figure,
If you're not on the thinner end of things,
you're not gonna be able to get in. A lot of these things are pretty tight to crawl through to get in.
well, I'm out.
Me too. So the other thing is that there's no lights down there.
No.
So it's complete darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a maze, and there's 200 miles of tunnels.
Yeah.
So if you get lost,
It's basically a death sentence.
yeah, if you run out of
Light, especially.
and no one knows that better than Phil Bert Asbert.
Mm-hmm.
So during the French Revolution, he was a doorman at a hospital, and he was sent down to the cellar to fetch some liquor because that's what we need at the hospital. Obviously.
Well, that's what he needed. His job was stressful. Come on now.
So he ended up in the catacombs. They say by accident. Now, some people say by accident. Some people say the cellar was part of the catacombs. Not sure which way it is, right? But he went down with a single candle.
Yeah.
So he got lost. And unfortunately, his candle went out.
Which, yeah, that right there, that was the end.
Yeah.
There's no way he was going to find his way back out.
No.
No light.
No light. It's pitch black. You're lost. You're done.
Yeah.
And so he did succumb to the catacombs. He passed away down there. His body wasn't found for 11 years.
Yeah. Took 11 years.
And in the spot where his body was found, there's a gravestone.
Well, they buried him right there.
Yeah, they buried him there and they put up a marker
Yeah.
saying this is where he's at. They were able to identify him because of the keys on his belt.
Yeah.
Let him be a caution for everybody who wants to enter the catacombs and doesn't bring adequate supplies.
Well, for those who enter the catacombs to explore beyond what the tour gives you.
Yes.
The
The
tour,
illegal part.
Yes, the illegal part. Extra batteries, even an extra flashlight, period. Because if your flashlight malfunctions and it's not because of dead batteries, you want to back up. They say water, of course. Bring water.
Food,
A little bit of food, all those things. Because you just... Waterproof shoes. It's not unreasonable to say... Bring hip waders. There are parts that are flooded above the knees and everything.
yes. And it will, above the knees. It obviously depends on how tall your knees are, but still, it's going to be wet down there.
Be
It's
prepared.
muddy. It's nasty.
Yeah, you got to be prepared.
So, what's interesting is people actually try to steal the bones.
Yeah, see, I don't understand that.
I don't either.
I don't understand. I would love and to go to Paris and go on the tour of the catacombs. Even if I was younger, I'm not sure that I would. I mean, maybe I would, being younger, go through the rest of it. That's, but you also have to be careful because there have been people that have paid somebody to take them down there to the parts where you're not supposed to be and have ditched them there. This has happened.
That's scary.
That's a scary thought because you meet somebody, they're like, yeah, I know, I can take you down there and I know the way in and all this stuff and I can take you down there. They take you down there, they get you lost, and then they abandon you.
That would be awful.
Yeah. So, if you ever consider doing this, be very careful.
Yeah. Make sure you're with someone who knows where they're going, that they are legitimate. There are places to find cataphiles to take you in.
Yes.
Just make sure that,
Make sure they're legit. Now, how you're going to do that, I don't know. I don't have those answers, but Definitely just don't trust anybody that says they can get you down there, because why they can get you down there, it doesn't mean that they're going to bring you back out.
Right. And with that, there's a interesting legend about a video camera.
There is. And I'm sure most of you who know about the catacombs or have researched them even a little bit probably have heard this story.
Yeah. So in the early 90s, there was a group of cataphiles who were walking through the tunnels, and they come across a video camera on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, this is the 1980s, 90s video camera, so it's probably fairly decent size, probably most likely a VHS style.
Probably.
And so there was still, a tape in it, essentially. And so they watched this tape. And the interesting thing about it is they see, you shows us a person walking alone in the tunnels. And then there's a noise. I think there's a couple noises, and the guy freaks out and drops his camera and runs off into the tunnels.
Yeah.
And that's it.
They don't know if he ever made it out. They don't know who he was. Nothing.
No.
And thus far, nobody's discovered any bodies or anything down there as far as like where they're not supposed to be.
Exactly. So that's the thing, is like, is this real? Is it, I
don't know.
Not sure which way this goes in this avenue.
Mm-mm.
So another thing that people talk about is they hear voices at midnight down in the tunnels.
I wonder why at midnight though. What? Like, I know that people say that if you're down there, and you're in these other parts, right? They say that they're voices of the dead that are encouraging you to go deeper and further into the tunnels, so that you have less of a chance of making it out. That they draw you further in and encourage you to go further in. So if you hear a voice, and with like paranormal investigators, a lot of times when you hear a voice or you hear a ruckus, you what do? We typically go towards it.
Yes.
To determine what, if anything, is happening there, right? If it's truly something that could be paranormal, or if it's just somebody else making a ruckus, or a critter, so many different things. So, I mean, if you hear voices down there, a lot of times people are like, "What is that?" And so they go deeper. They're kind of lured in deeper.
Well, and you got to wonder too, like if the voices are like, "Help, help,"
right?
Always.
What kind of voices are they hearing?
Exactly. Always in the distance, always one tunnel down or one tunnel over type of deal.
Yeah. So you go a little bit further.
Yeah.
And pretty soon you can't remember
where you are.
Where, you don't know where you are or how to get back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be scary.
Yeah.
What I think is interesting is in my research for trying to figure out the hauntings of the catacombs, I came across an interesting tidbit of information. And I don't know if this how true this is at all, but it sounds like at least Parisians in themselves don't believe in ghosts.
Oh, that is interesting.
So it's hard to find out hauntings when they don't believe in ghosts.
Right. Although, remember that photo I showed you the other day of that, whatever that figure is down in the tunnel?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a man, and he was just taking pictures of, I'm pretty sure this was the tour part of it, because you see that there are lights installed down there.
Yeah, it'd be the tour part.
So it's the tour part. And he was just down there taking pictures of the different tunnels on the tour. Okay. Because you can do like a self-guided tour.
Yep.
And all that. And that's what he was doing. And he snapped a photo in reviewing his photos later, he discovered that there is this like shadow figure. It's like in the middle of the tunnel. It's not up against the wall, or anything like that. This guy was alone. But yeah, there's definitely this figure that is standing in the tunnel.
Yeah, and it's kind of fuzzy. It's not like...
Well, yeah, but it was taken years ago. It's not going to be like today's photographs.
Right. But what I'm saying is that it kind of like almost like foggy in a sense. Like you could see that there was like like dimension to it. It wasn't like a flat shadow.
No, it wasn't. It was like, yeah.
Like someone there.
Yeah. It has, you could see it has legs. You could see it has somewhat arms.
And a round body.
And a torso and all this stuff. So it was really interesting. And I'm sure you can find that on the internet. I actually saw it on a YouTube video of the catacombs where they tell the story and whatnot, and then show the photo quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely an interesting place.
I would definitely love to go see at least the ossuary.
I would love to go see it and just feel maybe what kind of energy's down there, you know?
I mean, there's roughly 6 million souls interned in the ossuary.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean,
once living people just all stacked up in piles.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Ornately. At least in those parts.
Yeah.
And you got to wonder, like, you know, because there's that much there, I mean, it's essentially going to investigate a cemetery, go visiting a cemetery is kind of how it is. But you got to wonder how it, you know, do the people those are their bones, do they like the way their bones have been treated? Do they not like it?
Or do they care at all?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
I mean,
do they care?
There's all those questions, really. I mean, I can't imagine that they're all hanging out down there.
No, I can't imagine.
I'm pretty sure they've all moved on. You know, it's not to say that something isn't down there.
Right.
Just given the fact of what's down there.
Exactly.
You know, maybe certain things are drawn to that and they reside down there. I don't know.
But it would be fun to see.
It would be. I would love to go see it.
And there is an audio tour if you want, and it's €5. At least at the time, the information that I got, it was €5.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the individual said that they only got 2 facts that they wouldn't have figured out that they wouldn't have figured out.
Right.
And so they said it was about €2.50 a year, €2.5 a fact. So take that as as you may if you want an audio tour.
Yeah. Not to mention there's in one of the tunnels that's not on like the normal, the legal tour and all that. There is a throne made out of bones back there.
Skulls and femurs,
yeah, that people have gone and they'll sit on and get their picture on, and I'm sure you can look that up online too to see what that entails. So, yeah, there's some interesting things back there.
Would you sit on it?
Don't know that I could. I mean, part of me would be like, in all honesty, I'd probably say no. I think I would pose by it to get my picture taken. I don't know that I could sit on it. I feel even though that those souls are probably not there, those people that, belong to those bones and all that.
Right.
I just don't know that I could out of it's the respect factor for me.
Yeah. How hard would it be for you to go get to it knowing that you have to crawl and walk over human bones?
See, that's another part that's tough. That's another part that's a little bit difficult. Feeling, hearing the movement of the bones under your feet as your body weight goes across it.
Right.
I mean, if you really think about that, would you be okay with it? I don't know that I would.
It's a tough question.
I guess it comes down to how bad do you want to go down there and see all this? And depending on what parts of the catacombs you want to get to and and how many tunnels you want to explore is, I think, going to really determine where you're willing to go and what you're willing to walk across and through, because there's flooded parts and, like you said, there's bones that you're going to walk across that are stacked. They think up to 6 feet of bones under you when you're walking
in spots. Yeah.
So
yeah, it's an interesting thing when you think about, and that's why I think that the catacombs themselves have what I think of as almost like a night and day or a yin and yang aspect to them, right?
Right.
You have this light part, this beautiful part where you have the ossuary, where there's the beautiful, artwork of bones, and it's very, I would say, respectful and beautiful in that avenue.
Yeah, I think they definitely tried to make it with thought to those that have perished.
Right. But then you get the yang part of it. Because obviously, if I use only tibias and skulls for artwork, that means I've got all the rest of the human bones, all 254 bones left or 253 bones left, right?
Mm-hmm.
That got to be dumped somewhere else.
Well, yeah, it's like they just use the femurs and the skulls, and then they just
Dumped them.
dump the rest wherever.
Exactly.
Just disregarded them, and that's how it feels. But think about this: what would they have to do, and what amount of time would it take to use all the rest of the bones that were down there and create, these walls and stuff with them?
It'd take a long time.
It'd take a long time, and because the bones get smaller and smaller in parts.
Well, yeah.
Seriously, what are you going to do?
It's
not that it couldn't be done. I just think that they weren't going to take the time and the effort to
do that,
to go to that length.
Right. So they just dump the bodies dump the rest of it wherever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how it feels. And that part I feel sad for.
I do too.
Just because it feels like you have one side where you show this respect, and then this other side
where you just discard it.
Yeah.
Just get it out of the way.
And what about the bodies that didn't make the cut?
I don't know.
Like, were their whole bodies just dumped and
like that were too damaged, or
yeah,
I don't know.
They just we'll just dump you over here in this in the reject bin.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to look at it.
Yeah,
pros, cons, all of it, just like anything.
But honestly, definitely want to go visit.
I do too. It's definitely one of the places that I'd love to go and take the legal tour.
Right. And that's the funny thing too. Like, it's like you get to go to Paris. You get to visit one place. Would you rather go to the Eiffel Tower or the ossuary?
I'll go to the catacombs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eiffel Tower, that's great and all. I'm sure it's amazing. But no, it's the catacombs for me. All the way.
I agree.
Yeah.
With that, we've kept you enthralled, hopefully, for this whole time.
If not enthralled, at least mildly entertained.
Yeah, I'd say that's kind of our bar. The mild entertainment. If we get more than that, we are overachieving in our efforts.
That's right. That's just bonus.
That's right. It's bonus. So where can they find us on social media?
You can find us on Facebook at Cold Spot Paranormal Research, as well as Paranormal Peeps Podcast.
And you can find us on Instagram at Cold Spot _paranormal _research, and on Twitter at CPR Paranormal. And as always, stay ghosty, my peeps. Thank you for listening to the Paranormal Peeps podcast. You can find us on social media at Twitter at CPR Paranormal, on Facebook at Paranormal Peeps Podcast and Cold Spot Paranormal Research. And you can find us on Instagram at Cold Spot _paranormal _research.